Welcome to Brands Bites, the podcast that brings you bite-sized insights into groundbreaking innovations all the way to the latest gadgets. I'm your host, Tom, and topics today are Apple has announced WWDC, we have 4G landing on the moon later this year, and Microsoft Copilot will be providing you security updates. And now, let's kick things off with our first item, which is Apple's WWDC. Apple has announced this will be taking place from June 5th to the 9th, and with last year's announcements of iOS 16, customizable lock screen, Stage Manager, and the M2 chip was also announced at the same time, there's a lot expected from this. This is also reportedly when they're going to announce their either AR or VR headset, yet to be seen, although the image they showed for this event, the image here that we're looking at, if you're listening, it's a bunch of, if you picture like a bubble you blow in the sky and all the rainbowness that's happening, there's that with a black UFO in the middle without like the little top of the UFO, just the bottom circle oval thing. Could this actually be what their AR headset's going to look like across the front? It actually looks pretty close to what I would say the rumors looked like, which were kind of a bar Terminator style look to them. So maybe this will be this. Oh, and one last thing. Maybe that'll be this. We don't know. There also is rumors about a 15-inch MacBook Air and a new model here too with the M2 chip, I believe. That is what we might be seeing happening here. We don't know, though. It's still hard to know. There also is a little bit of talk that maybe with new Mac hardware, we might see the Mac Pro finally get an update. Maybe they'll start offering M2 chips to this. It's really hard to say. But in terms of excitement, I'm excited to see if they actually do release a headset. If they either AR or VR. Apple has always on stage talked more about AR. But I think what we've seen is in the last few years, things are trending much more towards VR, which I think we might see an M2 powered VR headset. It wouldn't be that hard to do. It's a very efficient chip. It works extremely well. Why wouldn't you make a VR headset with an M2 chip, even an AR? With Google getting out of AR, is that a category that Apple wants to go into past what iPhones can do and iPads do with AR already? I don't know. Maybe we'll see a combination of the tech. I would guess they're bringing something different to the table. So just like we have Alexa can now make calls for you on T-Mobile. You can now connect Alexa to your T-Mobile service for free. Other carriers like Verizon actually charge $5 a month for this, which seems like a dumb price to charge. Like, why can't you just include it for free? If it's $5, is it really that big of a deal? For AT&T has this already as well. And with that, we have just another device can do it. It'll let you make emergency calls if needed. It'll announce when calls are coming through and you can answer them. I'm curious to see how this really goes. I mean, you can ask it to call people too. Works like the assistant on your phone, but on Alexa devices since Amazon doesn't make a phone. Cool. I mean, it's here. It's been on the other carriers. For me, this is just something that would be nice. If you're at home, you don't keep your phone on you when you're at home. At least I'll get a ring when I'm in the other room and I can hear like maybe the echo in my room goes off. Who knows? It just would make that so much easier than having to find your phone if you can just answer on there. I would like to see how that goes. If you have multiple phone numbers or like multiple people doing this same thing. Who knows? But it's here, and now T-Mobile's in the game doing this as well. Copilot is going to be doing security. So this is fascinating because this is, I think, the first time that Microsoft has gone out of their way to customize ChatGPT. So this will be running on ChatGPT 4. They're calling it Security Copilot. Now, this will take prompts from IT admins and will act on it with a security-focused version that was developed in-house at Microsoft. So they're not necessarily working directly with our best friends here at OpenAI, other than just having ChatGPT 4 be running the show here. But it's cool. I mean, this will be interesting to see how much this changes the tech security industry. So this is supposed to improve with user feedback. It's been trained on 65 million security data signals every day. And in theory, this should respond more actively to more issues and adapt way quicker to issues that are occurring. This is something that can, in theory, actively fight back faster or better than a human could, which, if this really works, if this works as much as it could, even not right away, but in a little while, in a couple years, in 5 years, if this can get to that point of what a normal IT person would do for cybersecurity, but is constantly updating, are you going to hire a security person? There's no need to. I mean, why would you? You don't have to. Now, let's get something clear here too. ChatGPT is not always correct, and there's no way it's always going to be perfect with security. But with this user feedback system, which OpenAI also does, but directly for security, this is something that could just boom, 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 go really fast. I mean, with cyber attacks on the rise, being able to quickly patch things, like someone else gets hacked, boom, over-the-air update to the security, Security Copilot learns, updates, and just fixes these incidents so much quicker and faster than a person can. And in theory, the more people that are using it, the more it's learning. The more it goes, this person wanted security like this. Let's just add that in as something we can do. Not all our users might need that, but we can just add it in as something we can do. So this is something that, again, will change cybersecurity. I mean, this AI, we're going to talk about a little bit later, but does it need to be slowed down? I mean, this can be used for good and bad. Something that can learn just as quickly to do security can easily be flipped to get through that exact same security. Or if it's done with the same network, I mean, if Security Copilot, let's just say, gets hacked and they get the access to it, they could flip it on itself and say, hey, do this. And then maybe it will choose not to update it. I mean, there's a lot that could be asked here. Will it choose not to update itself as it's hacked so that an unhacked version of it can get in and hack it? That's a lot, but that's something that you just have to think about. It won't take that long for these AIs to learn stuff that quickly to be capable of doing things like that, which is why we maybe want to move to the moon, where Nokia is going to be, because Nokia is going to bring 4G to the moon. Now, this is coming later this year on a rocket blast to the moon, where they will be able to control rovers in real time with this LTE connectivity. This will be coming just brilliantly. I mean, once it reaches the Shackleton crater, it'll establish an LTE connection back to Earth. And Nokia is hoping with this, they'll be able to support the Artemis 1 mission, which is the next manned mission when they go to the moon in the future here. Now, this will make it so that astronauts on the moon can communicate with each other, as well as mission control, basically in real time. I mean, this is going to cut down on latency incredibly. It'll allow for real-time video back to Earth, including controlling the other two rovers that are going to be going up on this trip to bring this Nokia satellite or connection to the moon. There's not a ton of information on it yet, other than they're doing it. But this will be cool to see. Going up on a SpaceX rocket, this will inherently change how we interact with doing space stuff. Because there won't be as much waiting. It'll be the first time that semi very new communication technology is there. Like this is a big deal when it comes to communication with stuff up there. Being able to control rovers on the moon, instantly. That's wild tech. I mean, that's not something that's existed before. And yeah, I mean, huge implications on future moon exploration. This would make it so that astronauts can not have to download all their stuff before they go up there. They could actually stream videos up there. In theory, we've not been done yet, so let's not jump ahead. But in theory, that's something you could do. And just the fact that it'll all be in real time it'll be sick to see. I mean, you'll actually be able to see people walking on the moon in real time if they choose to stream that back to Earth. Especially with these new suits that NASA's made, it's going to be an awesome time to be alive and watch this moon stuff happen, because there's an actual moon race again that makes it fun and exciting, and it's happening. It's really going on. Next up, though, we do have what I said we were going to talk about later, and that is that top tech execs want to pause AI innovation. This is coming from actually multiple people that you have heard of. Elon Musk is probably the main person that most people think of right away. Steve Wozniak, who has been pretty critical of actually a lot of technology, is also one of these people. And Stuart Russell have signed. There's also, I believe there's up to like 500 other people that have signed this petition. If that's the right word for this, I'm not sure. But they basically are afraid that it's moving so fast and not regulated. And it's, again, AI is only going to move faster and faster with time. So if we allow these to keep going without, significant safeguards or ways to all agree that, hey, they should be able to do this with these limitations, there should be a common agreement on that, which is something that with this kind of tech is going to be necessary. I mean, how fast things like ChatGPT, just think how quickly it went from bottom 10% of the bar test to top 10% of the bar test. I mean, it happened for the public, it happened in weeks. It wasn't that long, really. So this is something that's actually should be at least talked about. I don't know if we need to necessarily put a halt or pause on the advancement of these systems, but we do need to come to a shared agreement, or how are these things really going to work and interact with everyday life? I mean, it's going to make general tasks that humans do or redundant jobs obsolete. Think of all the call center jobs. Those are gone. Driving's not that far. Those aren't necessarily even AI. I mean, Tesla's autopilot, I don't know if you want to call it AI. It's more of a machine learning. Most of these seem to be more of a machine learning right now. But driving's gone. So truck drivers are gone. I mean, you could automate trains and planes pretty quickly after that. Call centers, you're going to have manufacturing jobs disappear as well. There's just a lot of stuff that's going to change, and these jobs are going to become obsolete really quickly. I mean, like we just talked about, cybersecurity, Microsoft's already trying to do that with ChatGPT. So cybersecurity jobs, well, I don't think they'll be gone right away. Those are jobs that are also on the way. I mean, learn to code is actually, hey, learn to code is type in what you want it to do. This robot spits it out for you. So these things are changing so rapidly. Now, this also wouldn't apply to all things, mainly ones that are more powerful than actual ChatGPT 4. So with that said, these rules are trying to be directed towards quote unquote black boxed AIs. And it's unclear what this will look like in the long run, but a lot of people are signing this, and it's people that actually understand the technology at least. If I saw US Congress trying to do this, I might be a little more like, I don't know if we know enough to really do what we're thinking here. But when you have someone like Elon Musk, Steve Wozniak, and Stuart Russell, and you have other people too. I mean, 500 other, top designers, tech people also going over and saying, hey, we need to do something about this. There's something that needs to happen, or we got to find a way to work with this and around this than just let it occur to us. And so I'm glad that they're willing to have those conversations. I hope they continue to. And I hope this is something that doesn't restrict the ability for these to happen, but does come up with a way to make it safely happen where we don't alienate a ton of people from jobs and have a bunch of problems caused by a system like this. Now, if you're a gamer, you might think Windows 7 and Windows 8, that doesn't sound... For me, even Windows 8 doesn't sound like it's that far away. I mean, Windows 8 wasn't that long ago. But earlier this year, Microsoft ended support for 7 and 8, as well as AMD and NVIDIA also stopped GPU support a while ago. And as of a little bit ago as well, Chromium also removed support for this, which is leaving Steam with a tough choice because they are a Chromium-based app, and they're not getting support on these platforms. So Steam will be, starting on January 1st, 2024, will no longer work on Windows 7 and 8. Now, they did say this only affects about 2% of their current user base, which I mean, in reality, isn't that much anyways. Those people probably should be upgrading anyways. And I mean, it's just time. I mean, how long can you really support these systems? I mean, Windows 7 is 14 years old. Windows 8 is 11 years old. I mean, that's actually way longer than I thought it was. That means I was younger than I thought I was when I started doing computer stuff, which is mind-blowing because memory and this is wild to see work in cohesion. Yeah, so because they stopped this, because Chromium stopped, Steam's done. And so if you're on those platforms, it might be time to not be on those platforms anymore because 7 and 8 are thing of the past. Get on 11. I mean, 10 doesn't even seem that old, but it's time to get a computer that can run Windows 11 or Steam Deck. Maybe this is really Steam just trying to get that 2%. Just come over, buy a Steam Deck. It's not that expensive. Just get a Steam Deck. Why not? With that said, thanks for watching today's episode of Brand Bytes. Let me know what you thought of the new microphone in the comments on YouTube if you're watching there or listening there. And leave a comment letting me know your opinions. Do you think AI is really going to happen this fast like I do? Or do you think this is something that's going to take time to happen? And with that said, subscribe for more tech bites. And from now, I'm going to disconnect from the simulation and catch you guys in the next one. Perfect.